Thanks, Mike. I see that. Yeah, that's my brother on the guitar. He made that song for me because I did some work on his house. We traded. And here we are. We were just talking there. That's my brother on the theme music. He wrote that for me. I remember one part of the work we did was cut the bathtub out. It was a cast iron bathtub, and I had to go in there with my grinder and cut it in half. And oh, it was horrible. But good to see you guys. Let's see who all's here. I know Dave Carlisle was numero uno. Dave Carlisle. Everybody marked that with a finger over here. We got Blues Coins, Mike Badger, Youper Girl, Todd Miller. We got Jonathan Smelko, Gabe Barker. We got J.C. Will. So we've got a good crowd. And like I say around here, I say, hey law, the gang's all here. So we've had a great weekend of shows this week. I missed about half of them myself because I was doing projects and chores and stuff yesterday. But special thanks to all those who are. There's S Ross 475. How you doing? Um, Special thanks to all those that have done the shows. Charlie Riser went first. That would make him the early riser. Rivendell, Bill 457, Cheapskate, John Wolf, Mantic, Joe Durbin, who was on just a little while ago. Hope you're on demand, Joe. And after this show, it'll be 4:30. The Mantic coins will be on again, and he'll be having a giveaway. Shay, don't forget the giveaway. Just saying. And then 8 o'clock will be Shumar coin chats, and of course the Ken Peavy Big Show at 9:30. Don't want to miss that. There may actually be a Buffalo nickel in there somewhere. So check that. Yeah, Blues. I said your name. Having a little technical troubles here. Some things are easy to do on a Mac, and some things are not. And I encounter the difficult things sometimes, and I have to muddle through them. Like just doing maybe a hyperlink. It's weird. It's very different. Some of you computer people maybe could shed some light on that, but boy, Hoogie is lost on that. So yeah, you should have seen me when I first tried to do live streaming by myself, and my son was gone and everything. So we got a great show here today. We're going to talk Buffalo nickels, as you know, and we're going to have a great giveaway. First and foremost, though, however, who was our numero uno person in the chat line? His name is Dave Carlisle. Dave Carlisle, you have won. Send me a shipping address. You have won this here coin. It is a Type 1 1913 in AU Indian head, also known as Buffalo nickel, and it is a beauty. I'll put it over here on the scope so you can see it better. There's a V nickel. That's the Barber design. One of many. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But Dave Carlisle, you have won this coin right here. This is the Type 1, and I need more light on that thing. Kind of glares with that in that flip that it's on. But wait, there's more. Dave, if you're listening, wake up, Dave Carlisle. You have won this coin here. You tell me. I think you were here for our little lesson last time. I've got to find my pointy stick. I've lost another one. This is the Type 2 of the same year. And Dave Carlisle only, tell us what they call this little space down here on the Type 2. Do you know what that is? It was added just a couple months, probably, just a couple months after the Type 1 was begun. They discovered that area, they were going to lose the detail for 5 cents. I got to catch up on chat over here. And my chat is way behind. Here we go. Dave Carlisle, we're waiting for your answer, buddy. This little area under the thing, and Dave Carlisle says it is indeed the Exerg. Very well done. You have won this coin. So you'll have 2 coins to look at. I marked that out. It's an XF in my opinion, but I'll put these in plastic flips so that you can remove them easily without worrying about those staples. Now here at the hobby shop, staples are not a problem. We can pull them out. We can get the coins out without touching the staples. But when we send coins out to other folks, we put them generally into a clear hard plastic flip for your viewing pleasure. So thank you, Dave Carlisle, for being numero uno. And that's the good news. The bad news is you're not eligible for our other giveaways. But next time, next show, you will be. Buffalo nickel. It all started out with this guy. This guy. This guy. Him. Theodore Roosevelt. Theodore Roosevelt was president back in the very early. SJ is here. Silver Rookie's here. And Theodore Roosevelt was the guy who decided, gee, our money looks kind of lifeless compared to other nations. Theodore Roosevelt was largely responsible for the new Lincoln cent that came out in 1909, and the nickel was the next coin that was eligible to be changed. It had run in its old form in the Barber designed Liberty Head nickel that we saw just accidentally a minute ago over here. That was the nickel, and nothing really wrong with that. It's typical of the Barber design. It's kind of low relief, and you know, it's very traditional looking. And when they get a little age on them, the details just disappear. And you can see just by, seems like all the Barber quarters are that way. But Barber's design, it was like that because he was a coin man. He wasn't as much an artist as a coin man, and he was a second generation coin man. So he really knew, you know, what it took to produce coins in that day and age. So we have Roosevelt with the idea that let's improve some of these coins because we want them to look nice, and he had gotten involved with, well, let's see here, this guy. All the presidents have a bust made of themselves. I think this one was actually a statue. This was probably a full-size statue. And the guy that was commissioned to do the Theodore Roosevelt statue there was our man Fraser, rhymes with laser. James Earl Fraser. And turns out President Roosevelt took a liking to Fraser. Look at the face on Fraser. What is it with these artists? They all look like they're crazy, you know? So Fraser apparently is not appreciating having to take time to pose for this picture, I guess. But there's Fraser, and probably because of his connection with Teddy Roosevelt, may have contributed to how he got the job of designing the Buffalo nickel. Now here we are. This is Fraser later on. He is working on a sculpture there that was very famous. That sculpture, this white one here, was made of soapstone. Fraser, when he was growing up in South Dakota, when he was a teenager in South Dakota, he used to, from a very early age, he showed a great deal of skill in sculpture. And he used to sculpt animals and stuff, even when he was a kid. This one here, he did, some people say he was 17 years old. I have read one place at least that said he was 15 years old, but he was a teenager when he made this sculpture. It's called End of the Trail. And End of the Trail is an iconic sculpture. It's been reproduced thousands and thousands of times, partly because he never got it copyrighted, but it is a very, very famous thing. He took his sculpture as a teenager to a big show, an art show in Youper Girls and Artists. All right, took his sculpture to an art show, big art show in San Francisco, and won. And I think part of his prize was that he got to go to Paris and go to a fancy art school in Paris called, and I don't know, École des Beaux-Arts. So anyway, probably the School of the Fine Arts or something. but in Paris. He was there for 5 years, and after that, of course, he excelled there. And when he came back to the States, he was able to become a pupil of none other than St. Gaudens himself. St. Gaudens was the preeminent sculptor in those days, and turns out Fraser, rhymes with laser, Fraser was his best pupil. So there we have a little background on what we're doing there. The get this here, I've moved it around. The coin was in the works, and people in the Treasury Department were beginning to think, yeah, look, we do need to do a nickel. And the first efforts at doing a nickel came from Barber, who was the chief engraver at the Philadelphia Mint in those days. Barber started on a George Washington nickel, and he was, he figured he would get the job, and it would be a Washington nickel, and the Treasury Secretary would go for it and everything. Didn't work out that way. They had other ideas. The Mint director, his name was Roberts. He wanted one of Abraham Lincoln. So they just had a new Lincoln penny. Here they are. They're gonna have a Abraham Lincoln nickel too come out. The penny was very popular, and that all didn't work out either. When they got some work from, find my glasses. They got some work from Fraser, rhymes with laser. I have lost my glasses. Goodness gracious. There's some more. And Fraser had the notion of using what we know now as the buffalo nickel elements. Let's see here. I have come so much interested in the sketches, I have pushed them a little further, and now they are in the shape of electrotypes, which I should like to submit for your consideration. This is to the Mint director from Fraser. Of course, this means that they are still merely sketches and not finished products, but I have had them reduced and made into their present form for the purpose of showing exactly what I would wish done, provided I finish them. At present, they are the size of a penny, but they could easily be enlarged to any size desired. The idea of an Indian and buffalo on the same coin is without a doubt purely American, and seems to me singularly appropriate to have one on our national coins. You will see that the Indian is entirely different than any that's ever been made on a U.S. coin. Most of the heads have been Caucasians with an Indian headdress. In this case, I've avoided using the war bonnet and have made a purely Indian type. So it was Fraser that came up with the idea of using the American Indian and the bison as the elements for the coin. And his preliminary work was so impressive that they went for it, and they said, that is a great idea. Now, Fraser, of course, he's from South Dakota, and in those days he had grown up seeing, when it shows too in his work, that sculpture that we looked at a while ago, that he has a soft spot in his heart. He's like Hoogie, he has a soft heart, and he saw what was happening to the American Indians all around him. They were being pushed into reservations and then pushed out of those reservations further out into the boonies, further towards the west. And when he was a kid, he distinctly remembers somebody telling him, and there's conflicting reports of whether it was his own father that said it or if it was someone else, but the American Indian would be pushed into the Pacific Ocean. And that was where the idea of End of the Trail, which we looked at, the sculpture with the exhausted Indian warrior on a probably equally exhausted horse, and they've come to the end of the trail, that allegedly all the way to the Pacific Ocean. Well, so it's very likely that he knew all about, such things as the Trail of Tears, and certainly being from South Dakota, I'll guarantee you he knew all about the massacre. I mean massacre at Wounded Knee. So the preliminary work is sent up the ladder, and the Treasury Secretary is a guy named McVeigh, and McVeigh loved the work. He thought it was excellent, and that he says it in this way: the sketches submitted by Mr. Fraser are in every way so satisfactory, and he is a man who stands so high in his profession that I am glad we have all agreed to let him continue with the matter without looking further or incurring additional delay, that is, having some kind of contest or something. Will you, therefore, please write to him and tell him the nickel 5-cent piece is the coin for which we have been considering his designs, and the only one that is available at this time. That is, it's the only coin that can be changed. All the others had not been run for 25 years consecutively. Tell him that of the 3 sketches which he submitted, we would like to use the sketch of the head of the Indian and the sketch of the buffalo, subject to adaptation. The head of the Indian to appear on the obverse, the figure of the buffalo on the reverse. Only such inscriptions as the law requires should, of course, go on the coin, in order not to mar its beauty and to avoid crowding. Well, avoiding crowding was a tough job, because that coin, as you guys know, the elements of the coin take up. This is a type 1, just like the one Dave won a second ago. This one is in a slab. Look at the fields on the coin. There's like no fields. It's like all image. The artists call the fields, they call it white space. But this thing is very, very bold design. Takes up the entire coin just about. And the reverse is similar. I'm trying to get that glare off of there. Not a lot of field space. Not a lot of what they call white space. And he did it that way to make it different, to make it artistic. It's pretty high relief. It has some great detail. Bill 457 says the whole surface. Yeah, it's like a great big bison, buffalo if you prefer. But it's just one great big image, and it has some words at the bottom and some words at the top. But the image, especially on the obverse, just totally consumes the coin. And that was just the artist's preference. And as we know, Fraser, he knows what he's doing. He really was a tremendously talented artist. So here we have this bison. Check out the fields there underneath the bison's head, underneath his body. They're not flat and smooth like you see on most coins. It is lumpy. It's kind of textured, and he made it that way on purpose. That too was an artistically bold move on his part. And in the same way that this side here doesn't have as noticeable of texture as the reverse does. But similarly to what happened with the exerg, which they just flattened out this hill, made it into a plane, and cut a rectangle flat in it, and then put, then 5 cents was going to be there from then on. Same way they did that, Barber, who was chief engraver at Philly Mint, he removed all this texture and made it into basically a flat surface in the fields. And so nobody ever told Fraser, rhymes with laser, nobody told Fraser that they were gonna flatten those fields out like that. They just did it. A similar, well, they do that. They changed the peace dollar. Its first year was 1921, and they changed the entire relief on that one. So anyway, we got the coin going there. Let's see what happens next. I get to talk and I forget what I'm talking about. The plot thickened though. Everything was looking really good. Hi, Rivendell. Got a question here. Do you think that Fraser, rhymes with laser, suspected that the design of the coin would result in the date and motto getting much wear? Yes, there was a lot of debate about that, and especially from the King of Warren. The King of Warren dies him, or Warren coins himself. Barber, was his name Charles Barber. Barber, put that up. It said that, let's see here, grab a coin with a little bit of wear on it. He said that shoulder needed to be reworked because that shoulder was going to be prone to the date wearing out. And sure enough, that's one of the big problems that we have. The was it the mint director or was it the treasurer? I think the mint director ignored Barber's claims. They apparently didn't always get along that great, but the plea to have the shoulder area reworked in some kind of way, they wanted to. There was talk of making it a deeper relief, and somehow thereby protecting the numbers on the date. But the mint Barber said no, that'll have the opposite effect. That'll cause them to wear out quicker, and it'll be tougher on the dies, and it'll be tough, be bad idea. Well, Roberts didn't go for it, and the whole thing was scrapped, and we ended up with, the one we have today, where so many of the coins lose their date prematurely. Now, some people treat them with acids and whatever to try to restore them, and the true numismatic value is gone once the date disappears. Good question, Rivendell Coins. So what else we got going on here? The coin was certainly rumored to be being worked on, and it was, and word like that gets out quickly. There was a guy. Every story, every good story has a bad guy, right? And bad guy in our story today is a guy named Hobbs. Clarence W. Hobbs, of the Hobbs Manufacturing Company in Worcester, Massachusetts. Is that how you say Worcester? I don't know. But Worcester, Massachusetts was the home of Hobbs Manufacturing Company, and they invented and generated lots of coin-operated vending machines from which people bought things like newspapers. And in the old days, back then, you bought a lot of stuff from a vending machine. I don't know what all they had. There's a whole list of it in the book here. A great deal of what I'm talking about today comes from David W. Lang, Buffalo Nickels, The Complete Guide to Buffalo Nickels, 2nd edition. David W. Lang, not to be confused with that bartender guy from The Love Boat, whatever his name is, something Lang. But David W. Lang, this is a wonderful book. I really enjoyed it. You should see it. It's all marked up and got blue ink, notes all over it and everything. But an excellent book. Let's see. An in-use date would have lasted longer. Well, the in-use date was batted around. You can bet that Fraser, rhymes with laser, had considered that he was not a fan of in-use anything. Part of the reason that they didn't like the more recent coins was that some of the gold coins had that in-use Indian head on them and stuff, and it was It was just an inferior way of doing things, according well, Fraser felt like. So he wanted it to be, bold and artistic and everything. And we ended up with the letters that we have today. So, time for a cranberry juice break. And we're going to do us a giveaway. Another one. Very good for urinary tract health. So, here we have Hobbs. And Hobbs says, that new nickel is not going to work in our vending machines. It's too high relief. The weight is off center. Anything. It went on for no lie for months. He single-handedly helped to stretch out the making of the first coin probably at least 6 months because people would listen to him. Nowadays, they generally don't care. But Hobbs he knew that the mint director particularly was a politically appointed position. And with the new administration, Roosevelt had gone away. The new administration was the Taft administration. I should have got a picture of Taft. But the Taft administration, there we go. There's Taft. Handsome feller. But these political positions can be kind of tenuous, especially with a new administration. Now, Roberts in a letter that he had written to the Secretary of the Treasury, McVeigh, said, the importance, and this kind of makes Hoogie sick, y'all. Listen to this. This is bureaucratic crap. The importance of the automatic vending machine has grown upon me during the negotiations. Yeah, that's because Hobbs is twisting his arm about getting him fired if he doesn't get that nickel changed. So it has grown upon me during the negotiations, and I think the question of whether it shall be ignored or should be or not should be decided now upon broad grounds of public policy. You say it like Thurston Howell, public policy. In an alarming note, he added that with respect to Fraser, rhymes with laser, we can better pay him and throw his work away than adopt it, if to do so is contrary to sound public policy. Well, hails bells. This is after, now, Fraser hadn't been paid a dime yet. He'd done all this work and preparation. He'd made sketches and sculptures and had them reduced and all this kind of stuff. In fact, he even had them reduced at a place in New York City that could do a better job than the Philly Mint could ever do, and get higher quality and all of that kind of stuff. And Fraser had worked hard on this thing. Now you want to tick off an artist, you go picking his work and make him redo it all the time. The ones that I've known, it's hard to work with, many of them anyway. But you go give them a hard time, and then threaten to throw their work away. Holy smokes! Well, the Mint director Roberts had written this letter off, and this is after so much rigmarole. They even brought in people from the Hobbs Company and the engineer, and they tested the properties and whatever. Well, they did that here very shortly, as soon as the first samples were struck. He says, in the course of this meeting, it was revealed that of the dozens of companies making coin-operated machines, only Mr. Hobbs's firm and its principal customer, the American Stamp and Ticket Vending Machine Company, only they continued to insist on changes to the new nickel. And he goes on to say, it's totally ridiculous at long last and stuff. And this is the Treasury Secretary. He's politically appointed too. let's see. This would, here we go. Went on to say, if we should stop new coinage, and I like this. If we should stop new coinage, which is always allowed every 25 years, for any commercial obstacles less than imperative, we should have to abandon a worthy coinage altogether. This would be a most serious handicap to the art of the nation, for scarcely any form of art is more influential than an artistic coin. Amen, brother. Where the coin is widely circulated. The secretary concluded his letter with the flat statement, "You will please, therefore, proceed with the coinage of the new nickel." That is, don't come back with this Hobbes says this and Hobbes says that. You will proceed. So the dies were the final touches were made. The dies were generated, and on February the 17th, the first strike was made, and that was when they had the engineer come in and test the coins. So now we have the Buffalo nickels being made. That's a good time to take a break, and we're going to do us a giveaway. Now here, Buffalo nickels were made between 1913. They started then, just like these ones that Dave Carlisle has won, and they continued on to 1937, and then in 38 they only had one mint striking coins, and that was at Denver. So from 1913 to 1938 we have Buffalo nickels, and of course some of them are key dates and some of them are more common dates. Now I want everybody to take a look at this, and you can't read all those numbers because they're so small, and I could zoom it out some for you, but this is just the first 8 years on the numismedia.com price list, and look at the triple digit numbers, the 4-digit, 5-digit numbers on those overdates. There are a lot. These are the higher grade coins on the right. These are the lower grades over here. You see at the top of the graph, good 4, VG8, and so forth. But everybody here needs to learn that Buffalo nickels are not chintzy cheap coins. Those things, some of them cost a fortune. Look at that. There's one there, $237,000. It's an overdate, 16/16 in high grade. But those overdates are tremendously expensive, as you can imagine. Now, let's go back to, I've lost myself. Here we go. There's Hoogie trying to muddle through technical troubles. We have here, everybody wake up over there. Everybody's eligible except for Dave Carlisle today, because he's already won. I already told you the dates that these coins were struck. This one here is in an NGC holder, and it's a very nice coin. It's marked XF45, so it's pretty good detail on this coin. I'm gonna try to type something right here. I say, guess the date on this coin and you win the coin. Go. And I'm gonna open this back up so I can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There we go. So we got 1935, 1913, 1920. Oh, blah 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 blah. What is this? We got some people hidden here. Why is this? What's up with this? It's got like a show and hide thing going on. Show. I see one correct answer. Y'all can stop now. We have at least one correct answer. I'm gonna have to. Some of these came up with a double panel that said show or hide, and so I'm start at the top. Y'all stop guessing. Let's see, 37, 14, 30. First one I see is Blues Coins at 1931. 1931. I'll put this. Go back to OBS. Look at the scope. There's your coin. Blues Coins. I'm gonna double check again, make sure you were the winner. Yeah, you can check the certification number there if you'd like. But very nice coin. Very, very nice. It looks kind of funny in this light inside of there. But good coin, and it's worth good money. So 31S is a fairly key date. I think it is the second lowest mintage in the series. So let me double check again. I see go, then I see some numbers, and then I see Blues Coins at 1931. It's 31S, but we'll cut you some slack on that one because I just said guess the date. So what is this? Got some shows and hides on there. I don't understand why that is. I don't have anybody like that. We don't, we don't block people around here. We don't, none of that kind of stuff. And today, well, today we're flying solo. All right. So Blues Coins, I have shipped to you before. Send me your address again, just to make sure. And hope you enjoy your coin. It is an extra fine 45 1931S. So congratulations to Blues Coins and Dave Carlisle. Now we got a little more ground to cover here. There's a lot to talk about this coin. You guys get the idea, though. Putting that coin out there was not an easy thing, and when it finally came out, it was a huge success. People, virtually everywhere loved that coin. It was in high relief, and they were all, in good shape, very high grade when they first came out, and everybody just loved it. I'm gonna check up on chat just a little bit here. Let's see. Yep. Blues Coins. He's our winner. Low mintage. Yes, it is. I think it's the second lowest next to the 26S. Yeah, full horn. Extra fine means good, true, full horn. That's a very fine, isn't it? That was a very fine one. No, it's an extra fine. So Blues Coin's an extra fine. What else we got? Shay is here. How you doing, Shay? You notice I did not forget to do the giveaway, so yay me. All right. Well, Coin Dragon, you're not out of luck. We still got some more. We still got some more ground to cover, and Amantic, and we're gonna have another giveaway too here in just a little while. And one thing we're gonna do, this is my book, and it's all marked up and got, stuff on the pages, and dried cranberries in the crack and everything. This is the book that we're going to give away. So if you're interested in studying, learning more about the Buffalo nickel, stick around. We'll give this away in just a little while. It is exactly the same one that I used to prepare for this here show. Now, like every valuable coin everywhere, the coins invite people to fake them. And here's some pictures of some fake coins. This one here looks to me to be, I think it's a cast coin. Let's see here. No, that 25. You see how the date is faded on the 1 and 9, and it's pretty strong on the 2 and 5. somebody has made their own date in that thing. That probably is an S coin on the back. It's probably got the S, and because the 25S is fairly valuable, and they've just made their own 25 here out of another coin to try to create a 25S. Here's what a cast coin looks like. We see these, gosh, every day on eBay and stuff. Look at the fields on that thing. Look at how they're bumpy, and look at the Liberty, how strange it looks. Look at the numbers, how they look strange. They don't look like they're struck at all. Look at the artist's initial F right underneath the 1936. There's an F in there. That thing looks like crap. I think I could do better than that with a hand chisel or something. And of course, castings, their calling card is bumps and pits and weird looking lumps. Not like die chip lumps, but just odd looking pimply lumps that don't belong there. And also, of course, this. When you see a coin with an edge that has a line around it, that's a cast coin. Yeah, you put that coin, if they're silver coins, guarantee you see a casting line like that on a silver coin, it's not going to weigh out to what it's supposed to be, and it's probably not going to sound like it's supposed to. So moral of the story here is there's three sides to every coin. You got the obverse, you got the reverse. Everybody checks those. On the Buffalo nickel, you need to go ahead and check the edge also, if there's any chance it might be a cast coin, because there's a bunch of them. And by the way, the Chinese are getting very, very adept at making some pretty good fakes. I see fake Morgans and stuff right regularly now. Here's another fairly diabolical attempt to fake a coin. They've taken a Philly Mint coin, and they just carved a little depression in it and made their own little S right there, and then kind of dirtied it up. They love to do that on the fakes. They dirty it up and call it a whatever S, maybe a 25S or a 16S or a 27S or a 31S, like Blues one just a little while ago. Any of the more valuable dates, they love to try to fake them, and if you don't look closely, you don't have your loop out, you won't see that baby. That's those mint marks on these are so small that you can't see them with your eyes, and I tell you that the eyes aren't what they used to be for me. So I'm sure most of you have that trouble too. Now, you young folks, enjoy your good eyesight while you have it, and use them on coins. Now, the most diabolical of all is our inspiration for today's ever popular. Look at that. I've got to do something about this. Hang on. Got people, it's like, show or block. It's like two options for just almost random people on there. All right, the ever popular segment called the show about almost nothing. Yes, turns out, now we saw that S mint mark a while ago. Let's go over to, we're going to look at Blues' coin, because it has an S on it. Well, it's got a glare on it too. Well, the S is teeny tiny, as you can see, sort of, and it is at the very bottom of the coin. It's right near the rim of the coin. Well, back in the early 1980s, according to that guy, David Lang, he's got pictures in here. Somebody figured out a way to take the Buffalo nickel and drill into the edge of the Buffalo nickel, and drill just deep enough to get to where the mint mark would be, right there near the edge of that coin that we just saw on the scope. And then they take some sort of pliers gizmo, and then they stick these real skinny, long nose pliers that has a little S or a D on it, and they put maybe a piece of leather on top of the coin, sort of like I put this. I got the coin there. Put a piece of leather. This is leather, and then they squeeze that together with these real thin pliers, and it actually embosses an S on the side, and Dave, thank you. Yeah. I need to do that. Mrs. Hoogie is out of the house right now. That left a little hole, and they just filled it with metal and buffed it up and scuffed it around a little bit, got dirty, and then son of a gun, they've got a key date coin that they've made. They turned a regular common date coin into one that's worth maybe hundreds of dollars just by drilling a little hole and then squeezing with some pliers. Now, I don't know how in the world they did that. In the early 80s, I don't know if laser technology was that good, but I know good and well, in my shop, I'm going to have a heck of a time trying to drill that big enough to put anything in there. I don't know. So David Lang, our author, he says that's probably the most diabolical of the fakery that of any of them. They have all the usual add a mint mark, glue one on, solder it on, that kind of stuff, or take a half of a coin and glue or solder it to another half of a coin and create a coin that has an S reverse on it, and the right date on the front, maybe a key date on the front. So buffalo nickels, like all coins, they have three sides, right? They have the obverse, they have the reverse, and the rim. You check the edge of the coin on key dates particularly, and that's hard to do when they're sold like this. Yeah. So you got an expensive coin you're considering buying, have them go ahead and break it out of the 2x2 flip and check it out. Even if you buy them already certified, go ahead and try to give them a look too around that mint mark, see if it's been drilled in the edge. I haven't seen one yet personally, but back in the early 80s, allegedly it was a thing, and if they did it then, shucks, they can probably do it now even better. So keep that in mind. They had every kind of fake that that you could dream up. We've seen them on many of the coins where they've altered a mint mark to turn a D into an S, that kind of thing. We saw just a second ago turned a plain coin into an S mint. So be aware of all of that. Now, anybody know who those guys were? Who were the models for this coin? There was three of them. There was three Indians that, according to Fraser, rhymes with laser. They were both Indian chiefs, or they were all three Indian chiefs, as I recall. Iron Tail, this guy, he was the kind of the main model. Two Moons, this is him. He was a Cheyenne warrior in his probably a little younger days than in this picture. Two Moons was badass though. He fought at Little Bighorn. He fought at several other battles, of course fighting against the U.S. cavalry forces. But according to Fraser himself, Iron Tail was the primary model. And I can see that in that profile. You can see the profile there. That's him too. And Two Moons was the secondary. There was also a third one, and the leading candidate for the third one would be a guy named what was it? Big Tree. Big Tree? I think it was Big Tree. Which my last name means high tree in Dutch. So anyway, the third model, Fraser says he doesn't remember who it was, and Fraser's wife said that he always spoke of Irontail as being the primary model, but neither of them could remember who this third model was. Big Tree was a chief from somewhere, and he claims that he was the third model. Turns out, all across the country, everywhere you went, there was some Indian posing somewhere, claiming to be the Buffalo nickel model. And gosh, every grocery store that opened had him show up, or somebody saying that. And it was really kind of silly. But according to Fraser himself and our author, we have Irontail, two moons, and a third unknown party. Now, we got just a little more business to take care of here. And we're going to do us a giveaway. Yeah. Now, this right here is our book. And if you're not interested in reading the book, then don't try to win the giveaway. All right? And I'll try to keep an eye on this thing to make sure everybody has a fair shot of getting their vote in. Only thing is, how was I going to do the giveaway? I don't remember. We'll do this. This may qualify in the show about nothing department, but I bought, not long ago, I bought a peace dollar, and this was going to go into Mrs. Hoogie's collection. And the thing happened before where I bought the coin, but I got home and it had an S mint mark on it, and I meant to get a plain with no mint mark. The mint marks on peace dollars is really, really tiny, and it's kind of close to the rim too. Now that I think of it, they have reeded edges on these, so it's less likely to get drilled and filled and done that embossing trick that we talked about. But that was the first effort to buy the coin. Then I ran across another one at the LCS, and I bought it. It came from a stack of coins. A customer had just brought in this collection, and they're all stacked up. And they said, "Yeah, you can look through there if you want." So I pulled out that, and I thought it was this year with plain date, but same exact problem. I had purchased for what should be about twice as expensive of a coin. Now, let's go over here, and I'm going to put go. Guess the date on this peace dollar, and you'll win the book. Guess the date on Hoogie's peace dollar that he bought. I had to buy 3 peace dollars to get the right one. So hopefully y'all will learn your lesson and check those mint marks before you get out of the door with them. Especially if you're at a show or something and you won't be able to go right back to the store again. All right, I'm going to go up the line here. Peace dollars, peace dollars. Those are good peace dollar years. I see coins for amateurs. With the correct answer, y'all can stop guessing. Y'all can stop guessing there. It looks like coins for amateurs comes in at 1927. And coins for amateurs, we'll take a look to prove. There we go, 1927. I showed this a little earlier, if anybody noticed the year on it. But 1927 is our coin, and you are not the winner of the coin. You have won the epic second edition complete guide to Buffalo nickels by David W. Lang. So please check the description. There's an email in there, send me your email, and I'll send you your book. And you never know, might find something else in your prize. I can tell you this right now, blues. Take your pick, blues. Blues coins. This one here is called Bacote. This one is called Hoogie. Bacote, old woodworking legend Sam Malouf, he called it Bacote. So you can have Bacote or Hoogie. Let me get down there. I think my chat is stuck. Here we go. Yeah, they're woodies. So where's Blues at? Which one you want, Blues? Is Blues coin still with us? I think he lost his mind because he won that thing. There he is, up there. Which one you want, Blues? You want light or dark? Bacote, or Hoogie? Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it. Blues coins. Bartholomew. There you are. The dark one. He says the dark one. Dark one is Hoogie. It's spelled Wenge. W-E-N-G-E. And Hoogie is a wonderful wood. It's really dense and oily, and it's impervious to bugs and weather and just about everything that you can throw at it short of nuclear weapons. So congratulations, Blues coins, on that one too. I'm going to put my OBS back up so I can see what I really look like. And that's a nice coin. That's a nice pen. We'll throw that in with your coin prize. So now, well, thank you, Joe. I got it. We got the Dartwood pen, which is the Wenge, W-E-N-G-E, Wenge. The old timers call it Wingy. Down south they say Wingy, but it's Wenge. So that's that. Now, hope y'all enjoyed our show, and we'll see you guys over at Mantic Coins at 4:30. Just about all of y'all have been there before, I think. And 8 o'clock tonight, we got Schumar Coin Chats. So get over there. Appreciate it, Rivendell. Thank you. And of course, now Schumar is a super knowledgeable coin man. Just really incredible wealth of knowledge. As is Mantic Coins. Now, and speaking of knowledge, check out the big show at 9:30 tonight on Ken Peavy's channel, the Coin Professor. Special thanks to him for organizing this community and getting things all set, including all of these clues right here. So Hoogie is not as clueless as he looks. And Monday night, that is tomorrow night, tomorrow. The big prize for the weekend giveaway, where all of these clues will have some rhyme or reason. So we'll see all you guys there. And all you winners, make sure you send me your shipping address. And I hope y'all enjoy your coins. We'll see you hares tonight at 9:30 at the big show. And I'll probably be at the other ones too, so we'll see y'all there. And I hope y'all have a blessed evening. I'm Hoogie, and this has been the Hobby Shop. Thank y'all for coming. Let's see. Dave Carlisle. Check in the description. You'll see it. In the description. The email for the hobby shop is cartwrights.vest@gmail.com. Listed in somewhere in the description below, I think. So if you have any trouble, then go back to the video here and see Cartwrights. See me say cartwrights.vest@gmail.com. Okay, we'll see y'all. Thank you, Paulo.